Hey guys, I'm Johanna Burkhardt, the Soul Shaman, and today we're going to be talking about connecting to our higher self, channeling our higher self, and some tips and techniques that I used when I first began this practice. And I'm going to expand towards the end a little bit on how to be more conscious of your I am presence, how to connect on a more conscious level, not just in meditation, not just in a healing, not just in writing, but in an everyday type of way. So, in the very beginning, it really helps, or it helped me anyway, and I can only speak for me. So, whatever I present to you, I ask that you hold on to what resonates and integrate it into your being and develop your own thing from that energy. And what doesn't resonate, don't take. Just allow it to pass right by you, because there is no right or wrong way to connect back to you, right? You are the commander of your energy. You're never the victim of what's happening. When I first woke up, I scratched that. I woke up and then went through the dark night of the soul. And then later on, when I started to do the emotional healing, I started to unearth my sixth senses and feel that connection, right? And that's when I thought I went through my awakening. But I really woke up years prior and hadn't even realized that yet. So when I started to unearth these sixth senses and remember my soul connection, I immediately wanted to seek outside of myself. I wanted to connect with spirit guides. I wanted to connect with archangels. I wanted to connect with my past loved ones. This is before I was even introduced to the galactic energy, before I even realized that they were there or present with me. And so I immediately thought they had all the answers. And it was through this process of my own self-healing, going within my being, seeking everything within me, with help from the outside, with redirection, I was able to see that I am whole, that I know everything, that I am connected directly to my higher I am presence, my source energy, not God or source as we spew out, right? Not that that's not there, that God to me is the love of all things. God is in everyone and everything. And there isn't just this one energy that commands everything. I feel like we all have a collective peace in this. And when we return to our wholeness and we come together, we have these massive shifts. So when I started to tap into my source energy, to my well of all knowing, which is my higher I am presence, I started to feel this magic, this connection. It was very peaceful and comforting. It wasn't so much like I'm sitting there channeling and getting all the answers that I'm seeking. It was more of an energetic connection that allowed me to know that when I'm speaking, when I'm writing, when I'm doing anything, that if I'm tapped into that soul within me, that I am always channeling, that I'm always speaking my truth, my all knowing. And there's power in that. There's power in that. So let's get into a little bit of framework, shall we? Because a lot of times when we are just getting started, we need to set up some framework to help us have this container to work in. And as we become more developed and more developed and more trusting of our energy, that container walls begin to fall away and we begin to just trust our inner knowing of what we need to do in every moment. So these are some things that you can do to help set up your framework. Okay. My grounding techniques, if you've been following me for a while, have evolved tremendously over the years, because that's how it works or should work for most of us, right? We should evolve our practice. And so we always have to start somewhere. So it doesn't matter if your grounding techniques or my framework doesn't match what yours is. If it works for you, use it. But this is what I'm bringing forth to share with you right now. And I'm actually going to show you 2 different techniques. And you can feel into both of them. And then, like I said, integrate those pieces and create your own experience. Okay. So what I like to do and what I suggest we do in the beginning is get yourself into a space that's sacred in your home. So it could be the closet. But I create a dark space. And I like that because light, there's beauty and light in the dark, right? There's a treasure to be found in there. Like when we go into a cave to dig up the diamonds. So I put a blanket on my window and I black it out and I shut my door, and there's only just usually a faint light, or it's just pitch black depending on the time of day or if it's at night. So anyway, that's how I do it. I set up my space. I don't do candles. You can if you want. And I just get into a very comfortable space. Sometimes I'm laying down, sometimes I'm sitting. Again, completely up to you what makes it comfortable. There is no right or wrong way. And I take a few conscious breaths. And what I mean by conscious is they're very deep. And when I do this, I feel my energy just pulling in that source and then breathing out anything that isn't serving. It's like lightening my body, literally, and helping me to just relax and sink into my space, right? So sometimes I see a beautiful white light coming in as I breathe in, expanding my abdominals. And when I breathe out, sometimes I see dark energy, like black or brown. Sometimes I see like a mass of flies. Sometimes it's nothing. So that, like, again, there's no right or wrong way. But we're going to do this 3 times, okay? So just like this, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, literally breathing in, feeling your abdominals expand, bringing in that energy, and out through the mouth. Just helping you sink into your space, okay? One more time, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Very itchy today, apparently. Okay, so now our energy is settled, right? I tune into my solar plexus. If there's another center of energy that calls to you, you can start there. And I tune into this center. Now, if you see visually, great. If not, you can imagine, or you can just know. Underneath your breastbone, see, know, feel, however it comes for you, this yellow center of energy beginning to rotate and spin. Ask yourself or feel into or see the color, the hue of the yellow. Is it dingy? Is it bright? Is it clean? Is it spinning fast or slow? Just feel into that energy center. This is our soul. It's our spark. It's our fire. And then I attach a 4-inch in diameter grounding cord to the bottom of it. And I see this in my imagination. I see myself attaching this big, hollow, energetic cord. And for me, the color doesn't matter. Sometimes a color will appear. Other times it's just almost like translucent or iridescent. And I see this energetic cord coming down and entering into my sacral, really creating a pathway and opening up that next center. And I see it exiting my sacral, coming down, creating a new pathway, entering into my root chakra, opening up that center, exiting out my root chakra and coming down, ascending down into Mother Earth's surface. I see it moving through all her crystalline layers. It can go straight down, it can spin, it can do whatever it needs to. And I really anchor my physical being, my physical body, right? This is our vehicle of light. Anchoring myself in by wrapping that cord around Mother Earth's center over and over and over again, always with 3 for me. And then as that cord plugs into her heart center, her core, I feel like an electric connection. And then I start to call up her energy, and it just flows. Sometimes it's golden. Sometimes it's a rustic, rich red if I really need some grounding. It just doesn't matter. It can be anything that you need. Whatever comes to you is perfect in that moment. And I allow it to flow up into my root, into my sacral, into my solar plexus. And then I create a new pathway leading up into my heart space. And I find myself just beginning to breathe naturally, rotating in my heart space. And with every natural breath, I see myself going in and entering into my heart like this giant sacred space. And with every breath, I allow my energy to expand. I begin to see it expand outside of my actual physical body and unfolding even further to fill up the entire room. And even further to expand outside of the building that I am in. And even further to expand to completely fill my entire city. And even further to expand outside my whole entire state. And then my whole entire continent. And then I'm standing there seeing my energy envelop the earth completely. And another breath expanding out to encompass the whole entire universe. And then the whole entire universe of universes. With that next breath, I really just feel like I am expanded out to infinite consciousness, to infinite space, all places, all times. And in that space, I activate my own healing chamber. I see myself in my heart center, in my own sacred space. And this can look any way it needs to be. It used to be for me a cave, or not really a cave, but like a garden. And sometimes it still is very lush and lots of water and greenery and birds and butterflies. And other times, majority of the time here recently, it's a white room with white floors and white walls. No ceiling, because we have infinite possibilities. And I see myself in this space. And then I say this invocation. And sometimes it changes, but you'll get what comes through for you naturally. You'll get the gist. I invoke the I am in me to connect back to me. I invite my higher I am presence to stand before me. And I visualize my higher I am presence standing before me. And for me, she has this beautiful long, almost platinum blonde hair that has this beautiful natural wave and curl to it. She's in this white flowy dress that I've been searching for forever. It's almost like 3/4 sleeve with bell-bottom arms, and it's very fitting on the top and very flowy on the bottom. She's very angelic looking. She has this beautiful golden glow around her. She's very fairy, empowering, goddess, all mixed together energy. But she's very gentle and very loving. So see your higher I am presence standing before you or sitting before you. And this is really about just getting to know your higher state of being, your higher energetic presence, and feeling it within your being. See that connection growing from your heart and your solar plexus combining, almost like that yellow-green energy, creating this pathway connecting straight into your higher I am presence energy. See it as like this bridge that just appears, allowing for that energy to become flowing. You see it coming through, and then it begins to have this prosperity, this infiniteness. And you begin to feel that vibration. And maybe you get a knowingness. Maybe you receive a message. Maybe you start asking questions. Maybe you just sit and feel and stare and love and accept each other's presence. You begin to trust that energy and feel into it as part of your being. And that's the first step. That first step is connecting to that energy, embodying that energy, calling it forward. You can also stop right at the solar plexus when we were grounding up. And then you can see your soul chakra, which will be at different lengths at different times above your crown, opening up. Some people see it as a diamond or a ball of light, and just beginning to bring that energy down in through your crown, in through your third eye, and through your throat and heart, and meeting at your solar plexus. So bringing the energies together and then expanding out the way that we did. I've done it both ways. When you're in that sacred space, you can call on your healing angels or guides. You can call on Mother, Father, God. But I didn't in this time, because the important part of connecting with this presence is to know their energy solely, to create this sacred space to really feel that energy only. So now that I have connected with that energy, you can start to begin to play with it and get more comfortable with it and practice that more and more, and then begin to sit with it. And you can start to ask questions if you want, or receive messages. But it's really more about that connection, feeling that energy, embodying that energy, because it is yours. It's the melding of the two energies. That's why there's that bridge. And that infinite flow is really allowing that energy to permeate in your being. Some people may get a bunch of downloads. They may get all kinds of information. They may start to have visions or see things. And other people aren't going to get anything, but they're just going to feel, and whatever energy is coming forward is what they needed. And with trust and repetition, you begin to get very comfortable and feel this energy on a constant. Now let's talk about conscious connection, because that is where the magic happens. And so I'm going to tell you some things that I feel. And a part of this is an ability that I have to see myself in 360, and to see myself outside of me. But that's really a gift that all of us have access to, and it's becoming the observer in our own life and in our own things. So observing, when I'm talking to someone or working with someone, or even talking to my husband or my kids, I sometimes see myself outside of me, not as separate, but my higher I am presence there watching. And because I'm so connected, I don't see her anymore as my higher I am presence. I just see it as me, and being the observer, and bringing that loop of information back to me, like, do you see what you're saying right now? Are you seeing this? You don't have to know all the answers or what it means in that moment, but it's that inner redirection that begins to happen, because I have chosen to be in infinite awareness, to be the observer of my life as much as I possibly can be. You know, we are human. We're not going to always be that way 100% of the time, but it is a practice that you develop within yourself and your being. So when I take salt baths, which is a part of frequency management, and that is another piece of this, right? Before you can go channel another being like an angelic or a galactic, especially, you have to have a good frequency. Fifth dimensional and above are high frequency beings. And so if you're bringing in that kind of energy and you're in a low dimensional energy, you're not eating properly, you're not taking care of your body, you're not moving it, it can sometimes be very uncomfortable. Or sometimes you don't feel that strong connection because you're kind of clogged. And I don't like to use that word, but the energy in your body is dense. It's not light and conductive. And that's why there's so much talk, at least for me and the people that I work with, about frequency management, um, and raising your vibration and taking care of your light body and all of these things. So anyway, when I take a salt bath, part of my self-care routine, I try to take one every day, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes, not always, I will lay on my side and I will really just see myself, my higher I am presence, almost coddling me. Because a salt bath to me is very detoxing, it's very soothing, it's very comforting. And I just see her laying with me, almost like wrapping her energy and enveloping me and allowing me to be cocooned. I sometimes also do this when I am resting, or when I lay down to sleep at night. I will see myself being wrapped in her energy and just kind of holding me in that higher frequency. Again, that's a very conscious way for me. When I am channeling, when I began to channel archangels and connect, I would used to see and sometimes I still do, a copper cord connecting from my solar plexus or my heart center, um, to my higher I am presence. Actually, sorry, let me say that again. From my solar plexus or heart, sometimes both, like coming out as a V, connecting to the archangel or the being, right? And over to my higher I am presence and back to me, creating that trinity, that triangle. And that copper or gold cord is a conductor of energy, and allowing my higher I am presence to take that information and channel it back to me in a way of which I'll understand, because that is me. It's my higher energy, right? I am very comfortable with that energy. I know me. And so it makes the conducting process much easier and much simpler, because I'm just pulling that information for me. So they're giving my higher I am presence the information, and it's coming back to me translated, right? In a way that I will understand. And a lot of people resonate with how I bring information forth because I'm very grounded in it, right? I bring it into more human words instead of these fancier words that a lot of people say. And I don't always do it that way. Sometimes shit comes out of my mouth and I'm like, I need to break that down a little further. But that's part of the process, right? We're always evolving and learning. That process is pretty much how you channel when you're in a high frequency, but you first have to understand you at your highest frequency. And that's what we talk about with connecting with our higher I am presence and channeling ourselves, because we are always channeling. We're always bringing that information from our source, from our well of all knowing, and we're always bringing it forth. And sometimes we can allow our ego to get into the way and alter that, and so it comes out not pure or authentic. And I've been guilty of that too, because we're human. That's why we're here, have this experience, and to take every opportunity to learn something from what we're doing. So seeing yourself with your higher I am presence as much as you can. And you think about it, you think about these people that are diagnosed with mental illness, where they're talking to themselves or they're seeing other beings or themselves. Really, I talk to myself all the time. And it's funny, as I was just talking about this last night to someone who I'm working with. I said, it's funny, I talk to myself. That helps me. And my dad used to talk to himself all the time. Now, my dad, hindsight's 2020, right? My dad was a clairvoyant, and he channeled the most amazing things for the company he worked with, who built shit for NASA. Like, he was amazing, but he didn't know that's what he was doing. But anyway, he used to talk to himself all the time. And I used to always be weirded out by it. I'd be like, Dad, why are you always talking to yourself? And he'd be like, because I'm the smartest person I know. And I would laugh out loud and be like, you're so strange. Right. And I never got it until I was awake, and I was like, huh, we are the smartest people we know. Every single one of us are the smartest person we know. Why aren't we all talking to ourselves? Why aren't we all working it out? And this is why I love working with clients one-on-one in an audible way, like Voxer or Facebook Messenger, or just getting on a call and speaking it out, because it's a lot of the time when we're giving it a voice, we're allowing it to come into the light, that when we're stepping outside of ourselves, right? And we're bringing in that higher energy, we're like, oh, now that I say that out loud, I get it. I see. I just needed to vocalize it. I just needed to get it out there in a different way and be the observer and not be caught up in it and the psychosis of it, the looping of it. And this is what connecting to your higher I am presence does for you. So what you can do is take, like, I'm going to say 7 days, and spend at least 20 minutes each day doing this practice, creating your sacred space, developing it, seeing how your sacred space develops, using your conscious breath, creating that space, expanding your energy out to infinite consciousness, or connecting up and bringing down and expanding out, either way. Calling your higher I am presence forward and just connecting with her energy. And then I want you to journal afterwards. What did that person look like? What did you see? What did you feel? Did you get a message? Did you get a knowing? You know, every day, expand upon it and work with it. Start to see yourself towards the end of the week, bringing your higher I am presence energy into your conscious environment. See yourself standing with you. Have telepathic conversation with your higher I am presence. Put it out there like a twin energy that's there supporting you and assisting you on this journey. And then eventually you'll see that energy meld. And it won't no longer be like a separate higher, energy. It will be just the higher version of you. You will feel you, and you will know your truth. And this is the starting point of really learning to channel and opening yourself up, because if you don't trust you, your energy, how you feel in the low vibrations of the shadows, right? When we're in the depths of it, allowing ourselves to sit with it and just being supported to the highest knowledge in that well. You need to know the very bottom of the barrel to the very top, where it's not even ends. It's just constantly flowing, right? This is why I use the gene keys. You have to be able to sit in all levels of your energy and understand how you work, how you flow. And when you can do that, channeling becomes easy. Thank you for joining me, and let me know how this practice works for you, and if any questions come forth. Namaste.